bow our heads. Everybody point to the pastor.
No.
Father God, we thank you for this day, a day that we've not seen before. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Yes.
My God, as we go about the business of the seniors of this parish, we ask that you would lead and direct us. We ask that you would have us to have a meeting of decency and in order, and bless it in the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll lead us. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Dr. Cole, can we get a roll call, please?
Attorney Jennifer Morrison.
Here.
Miss Jerry Booker.
Here.
I'm here.
She here.
You got
Miss
it.
Patricia Williams.
Present.
Councilwoman Shauna Banks.
She's en route.
Attorney Steve Schilling. Representative C. Denise Marcel.
Present.
Miss Jessie Griffin.
Jessica.
Excuse me. Reverend Leo Cyrus. Martha Andrews. Professor Dorothy Jackson.
Here.
Miss Pamela Ann Mitchell.
She's absent.
Jamie Robinson.
All right.
We have a quorum.
Thank you.
Open the floor to public comments. There being none, we'll move on. Do I hear a motion to certify the minutes of the last Board of Directors meeting of May 18th, 2018?
I make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Now we have to, I need to hear a motion to move into executive session briefly with,
So moved. Second.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do I hear a motion to come back from executive session?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And just for the record, no votes were taken and no action was taken. All right. Let's move on. Finance report. Acceptance of the city budget for 2019. Is that Miss Pratt Hishcombs?
Miss Pratt wants to stand right here by this mic.
Okay. All right, Ms. Pratt.
All right. In your package, you should have a copy of the 2019 annual budget for the city.
Can y'all talk up a little bit?
Okay.
All right.
Talk, go ahead and bend over.
What's that? It's not going to make you louder.
No. And the actual budget itself is attachment E of that packet.
Here it is.
All right, in that, are you there yet? The budget page, attachment E?
D or E?
E.
E.
E is an elephant, the delta.
Okay.
Okay. All right. At the top portion of that, of course, is our anticipated income or revenue for the year 2019. The first figure is the state money, and that is the amount that we will get in state federal money for fiscal year, which actually started July 1 through June 30th of 18. It went down a bit because we had income that we got from the auto tax, but that was taken from us during the legislature session and forwarded to somewhere else. But it was $50,000 that we normally got for the last couple of years. We won't get that anymore. So now the only other outside funding we have other than the city is that we get directly from the state and federal government. It's for $1,872,517. The local money is the millage money, and that figure $8,939,631 is the amount that we have collected to date through May 31st. Now in June we did get another payment. It was like $39,000, but this was due June 15th, and we didn't have it at that time, so it's not included in there. but we are budgeting the amount that we had actually received as of the end of May, which was 8.9 million. In that, I'm just going to discuss the amount for the city parish, because that is what we had to submit to them for June 15th, for their budgeting process for the end of this year for 19. In your packet also in the same section there is a millage budget. Yeah, it should be close to that particular document. Okay.
Starts with
separate.
millage
It's not a
budget.
part of that document. It's a separate thing that was inserted, which is just the millage budget itself. Because the information at the bottom of attachment E includes our total budget for the year as well as the millage plus any other funding that we get. Okay, it's loose, yes. And what I need to bring to your attention in this particular budget what I need to go over with you there on the personnel expenses, included in that we have included next year in 2019 we will be getting our 5 buses from DOTD early spring, so we will have a transportation department, and that's included in this particular budget. They're donating, well, we have to pay like 5% for those buses, 5 buses. And they're going to be handicap accessible, a couple of them, but they're for our seniors. So we will have a transportation department. We will be able to pick up our seniors. You know, the policy itself we're still working on, but we will be able to assist our seniors with rides to and from doctors or to the centers even, to make groceries or whatever their needs may be.
Right.
So we will have a department that's included in here. We will have a full year's budget for the senior centers that we're picking up. The 6 centers, 5 Breck and 1 Jewel Newman that we're, 1 senior center, community center that we are doing the last part of this year. We also have under our fringe, we have included a 3% retirement for our employees to start in 2019. And I'd like to note for the record that based on the cost as far as salaries and administrative goes, our administrative salary in this particular budget is only 13%. All the rest of the salaries are direct program expenses. Because what we do for even our administrative staff who work on various programs, we allocate their expenses to that program, so it's not all admin cost. We have also not renegotiated, but we got a new health insurance plan. We're no longer with Blue Cross. We will be with Humana. And the coverage is better, and the cost went down a great deal. So we had that health fair a couple weeks ago, and we were able to save money there. And that particular match is going to be like 80-20?
Yes.
80%, the organization and the staff will pay 20% of those costs. And it's just employee-only costs that we're paying 20% of, not dependent coverage. And then, of course, in this particular budget, we have certain costs, like our senior stat program. We have a $50,000 maintenance on that, just on the equipment and the services for that particular program itself. We're still getting computers because we have in 19 additional staff that we're getting, and they will have to have office furniture and computers. Kitchen equipment is all, we're still working with the old equipment that we have. We didn't want to go out and purchase all of our new equipment until we got into the new building, that wherever we end up at. So, but we're having to replace certain items as they run out, as they tear up and can't be fixed anymore. We're having to replace those items. I think last month we had to replace a tilt brazier, which was kind of costly.
$17,000.
$17,000, yeah. So, and another thing, we're this year, the end of the year, last quarter, we will be starting our respite, increasing our respite homemaker program. It was already approved by you guys in the personnel, the costs, and the positions have already been approved. But now we're going to start filling those positions by the end of this year, before the end of this year. So in 19, they will be ready to run at full service. So I need an approval of the budget. Total budget at this point is $10,812,148. But the portion I need you guys to approve includes $8.939631 for the city.
We have a resolution? Do we need a resolution?
Where did we get the motion
But I
from?
do have a question.
She moved. Yeah.
When you mentioned the computers, will that be the computers for each senior center, or is that for the?
That's for staff, but we are working on computers for each senior center. Our issue is some of the facilities don't have enough space to put computer centers, but where we can, we will. I am going to meet with particularly Butler Center to see about updating or starting a computer center there in that facility for the seniors. But yes, we are. We're picking them up in some centers. We have been enhancing and improving what they have and redoing the computer lab so that the seniors can utilize it, so the teachers can rotate.
Another question. What
Yes.
about the furniture for the chairs and tables?
Yes,
Included?
it's
Yeah.
coming. That's in.
It's
It's already in the
yeah.
budget.
Okay.
It's there.
So question.
They're on the way. New chairs and furniture for the centers. Yep. We're doing it a little bit at a time, but they're coming.
You should see us when we have our pillars and we move it from side to
Yeah, we get new chairs for everybody. Okay.
All right.
good representative for the seniors.
Yeah, she the senior representative. That's right.
Do I hear a motion to accept the city budget for 2019?
So,
Okay.
Sorry.
You made the motion, and who second?
second.
Okay.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right. Thank you, Ms. Pratt.
You didn't need a resolution for that.
We don't?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we just had a board development committee. Ms. Griffin, you want to give us an update?
Yes, the Board Development Committee met today to review potential candidates to replace the Baton Rouge community appointment, which was formerly held by Mr. William B. Daniel IV. And for your consideration, we'd like to present to the full board our recommended candidate, Chief Carl K. Dunn. He's the City of Baker's first elected African-American Chief of Police. He graduated from Port Allen High School in 1980. He's a Marine Corps veteran. In 1995 and 1997, he graduated from Southern University with degrees in criminal justice and sociology. He began his law enforcement career in July 1983. He's a receiver of the Outstanding Officer of the Year Award with 24 letters of commendation. He was the first African-American Uniform Patrol Bureau commander. While in that position, he implemented his 40-0 patrol plan in 4 different Baton Rouge communities, which meant officers were required to make 40 positive contacts with 0 tickets. Chief Carl Dunn is a man with a heart for the community, and we're asking for the board's consideration our recommendation of Chief Carl K. Dunn for the Baton Rouge community appointment.
I so move.
Second.
All right, all those in favor? Okay, Pastor Domingue had to resign, so we still have a nonprofit seat open. We have 60 days to fill it. So I know the board development committee is going to be open to hearing any suggestions anyone may have for the nonprofit seat.
And if you do have suggestions or you know people that are interested in serving on the board, please have them to email the resume either to Ms. Jessica Griffin or to Chantel LaBeouf, who is the liaison for the committee. Chief Dunn's resume had been in for several months since before the annual meeting. He asked to be on the board. So if you know some folks who want to serve on the council, just let us know and we'll have a subsequent meeting.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Oh, it's my report. Ad hoc committee report on 1701 Main. We had gotten some questions about whether the facility was still going to fulfill the original purpose. We had a telephone conference in which I thought we were very clear, but they had a few other follow-up questions. Tasha has supplied our responses to them, and we are all clear to go forward with 1701 Main. Now, I guess
we're at the end of design. They showed us, we met at Coleman Partners, they showed us the design for the new building, for the 1701 Main, pulling out the administrative aspect and the super large kitchen so that we could serve more seniors in that facility. I don't know if you all have been paying attention to the growth and the demand for services that's been going on in the agency, but it's hard for us to park at Florida Boulevard. And so we knew that moving into a smaller building, we couldn't see all of us and all the seniors and all the services they need. So we're going to do our administrative aspect somewhere else. And so HUD, at first they were kind of leery about it, but they're okay. They sent us approval to move forward. And so hopefully by after the 4th, we will have design and they'll start doing something. They meaning the city.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have we secured it with the fence yet?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good.
Yes, the fence is up. We put
It's boarded.
and it's boarded.
Yeah,
We
it's
had the
boarded.
building boarded, and we at our own cost paid for a temporary emergency fence, because I don't know if many of you know, but somebody was killed on the property a couple of months ago. Nothing to do with us, but we just didn't want that to happen again. And so the city didn't have it in their budget, so say them. But we went ahead and paid for a fence. It was about $8,000. It's temporary. It'll be there until construction gets started and is over.
And there's more of a presence there on a
Yes.
daily basis. So,
And I do want to say, the neighbors across the street really says, thank you. They have
Yeah.
been calling and calling and calling.
Right.
really.
And in fact, the call went out earlier that day. I was on a Sunday when the guy was
That's
killed.
I
right.
think so.
For the police to come out because they were over there and they never showed up. They didn't show up until after somebody was killed.
Right.
But they wanted me to personally thank Councilor
Tell them thank you.
and
We
staff
appreciate it.
for securing the building. Because it makes them feel a lot safer as well.
Sure.
Good.
Sure.
Okay. Well, since we've decided to remove the admin part from that building so we can serve more seniors, we had an ad hoc committee looking for another building to put the kitchen and the admin. So we found 419 North 19th Street. It is the Mid-City Redevelopment Alliance warehouse. It's in really good shape, and we have put an offer in, and I think it can fit everything that we need in there, and they have accepted our offer. So Will is in the process of getting people out to check it for any sort of issues, do an inspection, a full-blown inspection. We have an appraisal in your board packet in there. It came back really well. Go ahead.
Well, we haven't sent the environmental appraisals. I need the board's approval that you all will accept the allow us to move forward to actually purchase the building. But the building was given to them by Baton Rouge General, and so they sold it to us at appraised value, which was very, very fair. To say they did a lot of work, and their offices are there as well as warehouse space. It's right across the street. It's catty corner from the 1701 main building. So we'll just walk right across the street,
Right.
and right across the street from the Royal Furniture Building. You know, the one that's painted with all the colors. And so once they realized that we were looking for a building, they reached out to us, which was great. I think it's a windfall for both of us, both agencies, being that we're both nonprofit, so they can't make an exorbitant amount, and us either. And they're moving into, there's a fire station right behind that building that they're getting from the RDA, and they're going to put their offices in there. And so we'll be a whole nonprofit community in that area, which I think will be great.
Block, yeah.
One city
and
block.
they're gonna rent their office space from us for a few months while we start renovations on the rest of the building. And so we'll move admin in there. The warehouse part is really ideal because we can now drive our trucks in, load up Meals on Wheels out of the Elements
That's
and
right.
safely in the building, put everything in the trucks and have them come out the other side because it still has
Yes.
the garage doors. So I thought it was a really neat building architecturally. I think it used to be like a Lincoln dealership or something.
back in the day.
And so it used to have a glass front. I'm hoping when we finalize everything, we can get a good architect on there to bring it back to its original beauty or whatever. But so I'm excited about this building. I think it's gonna really help us out as far as a place to land, and literally we can walk out the front door of that building and see 1701 Main. So Tasha won't be too far from anything that's happening at the main at the main facility. Which also leads us to across the street. There is another building. Our only issue with the 419 North 19th Street is possibly parking. If Mid-City moves into the firehouse, they have a bunch of parking behind them, and they would allow us to park there too, to use some of those spots. But there is a building across the street facing Main. If you're looking at this building to the right, I think it used to be a bank building a long time ago. They have a multitude of parking spots, and so we are talking to them about possibly acquiring that building too and their parking. We haven't decided if that would be a tear down or whether we can fit everybody where we're. If we can fit everybody where we're at, do we tear it down and make parking for all the staff, or do we keep the building and use it for something else? We haven't decided yet. We're supposed to go out and look at it, take a walkthrough later on this week. And so we haven't totally set that up yet, but we're trying to work on that. So just so you know that is in the works.
1746 Main.
1746?
Yeah.
1746 is the
Address.
is the physical address of that building. So,
I have a question.
Okay.
yes.
So in either of the facilities, is there like a space like this for the seniors, like when we have big meetings or annual meetings?
So in the 1701 Main Street, there is. Since we moved the administrative piece out, initially we were only going to be able to seat about 128 seniors for lunch, which in the building that I'm in now, I do 200 a day. So now we can do up to 350. Once we moved out the office spaces, they enlarged we'll have a
area.
multi-purpose room, cafeteria, dining room with slidable walls that you can separate it or unseparated. So I think it's going to be a great general space for those kind of activities in the supersized. We call it the supersized senior center. It's going to have the Lotus pantry in it as well, because that's why a lot of the cars are there now. That we have the pantry where they can go and shop, which will be larger than the space that we have currently. They'll have an area for adults, daycare if need be, and also restrooms with showers, because oftentimes our seniors have accidents and there's no way to assist them. A staff person has a difficulty assisting them all in the public restroom. So those are some of the things that will be in the new building at 1701 Main. Now the building that we're going in and administrative will strictly be for admin staff and some of the social workers. The senior center staff will be in the building with the seniors. Finance and the kitchen where they can move the fleet in and out to load up the meals, going out to Meals on Wheels. We will also have a relatively nice sized kitchen in the other building. So if we need to cook in the other building because we're overwhelmed in one, we can use both facilities for that. To answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yes.
Can the board members take a walk through the building?
So we buy it.
Oh, we like
So we won't have to use this facility anymore?
No.
Get rid of that.
Yeah, we are.
And the 650,000, that's what.
650,000 was the offer. We offered the exact appraisal.
Now,
amount.
what I heard you ask was, it's not gonna be this kind of space.
No, it's not this kind of space. No.
This kind of space like what we do with the country western day
Right.
or any of that.
Right.
It's not that type of space.
No. No, it's just we can have meetings and small activities. But in this space, we have Thanksgiving dinner where we have 1,200 people in here. So we won't be this big. It's not this large. We won't be able to have our major citywide events there. They won't be able to take it. It will be no parking or none of that. No. So we have this building under lease for another year, and then after that we have first right of purchase. If we choose to do so, then the board will get together and decide, do we want to buy it or not. Currently, I'm not so for it because the price he's talking about, but we'll see where he gets as we move closer. Yeah, he wants $2 million for this one space, which I don't know if we hadn't had it appraised. I don't see it being worth that. Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Can we get a motion to accept the purchase agreement?
For what?
We don't need that.
Oh,
To buy the building.
for the Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept the purchase agreement on 419 North 19th Street?
Yes.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right.
All right. Then Murphy wants to talk about the contract for construction.
Oh, that's right. You needed to talk about the contract?
Yes,
Okay.
briefly. This is just an update on our program manager contract. We are in the process of negotiating a contract with the only qualified bidder, proposer on our program management, which is basically overseeing the various construction projects. The company's name is Tillage. We sent them a proposed contract. They sent us a proposed contract back. We marked it up, and we have now sent them back something that is okay with us. We believe is fair and appropriate. And so, what we need today is simply a motion to allow us, my law firm, to continue negotiations and finalize that contract.
I have a question.
Yes.
So are we on new business?
No,
Not
we're
quite yet. We're still talking about really 1701 Main, or, well, all the construction projects.
So the construction is regarding the management of any of those projects?
Yes.
Overseeing and managing.
Overseeing the
project.
management, okay. If that's the case, unless somebody else has a question, I'd like to move that we go forward with those negotiations.
I just want, that includes like Dumas House and this company is gonna
It is
oversee
right,
all.
it's to oversee all of the different projects.
Right.
that we have,
The
any work that
construction
we do.
program of the
And so,
Council on Aging.
Are you saying that we only have one responsible bid? Is that what you said, right?
We got three
We had
bids.
three.
Three bids, right?
We got three proposers. Two were not qualified pursuant to the RFP. The
Okay.
RFP required all of them to have contractor's licenses.
Right.
Only one did.
Right, okay.
Okay.
I understood that, I just want to make sure everybody else got it.
No,
And just
thank you.
for your general knowledge, there are 4 pending construction projects that the Council on Aging has. One, which is the first and most important, is our Dumas House parking lot to eradicate that severe flooding that we've had for years. That's the first, as soon as we get that. 2, of course, is the new administrative building upon completion of the our due diligence period. And then 3 is our Homewood Senior Center. The pool is coming up out of the ground, so we have to redo the pool, and we're going to expand the space. We have more people than we can sit in the facility. We're at the point where we'll be past the fire marshal's number here shortly, and we'll have to start turning seniors away in that area. So we need to renovate and expand, and it sits on almost 2 acres, like 1.5 acres. So we need to expand that facility, repair the pool, and I think the 4th one is the 4th one.
Whatever new facility we get.
The firehouse is the Gus Young Fire House. Okay, so that's our 4 looming projects for the end of this year, and so we're focused on getting these projects started and the funds encumbered.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Great. And so, any projects though that we would have that would be
Construction.
construction in nature,
Right.
they would be.
They will manage.
They would manage those projects. Is
That's
that
right.
correct?
That's exactly right.
That's
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Because we don't do construction.
First year contract.
I don't know nothing about
1
it.
year.
How long is
1 year, initially
contract?
1 year contract term,
With the renewal.
but subject to renewal, but we can cancel at any time with 3 days notice with no penalty.
Oh, that's great.
All right.
Murphy wrote it. He wrote our RFP and the contract.
Well, then I'm gonna accept Denise's motion
So I stand by my motion.
to
Okay.
allow Murphy Foster and his firm to continue to negotiate this contract with Tillage.
Tillage
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
You had a question, Ms. Pat?
I had a question about the Gus Young.
Yes.
I thought at one time, because in looking at through the minutes, I think we're supposed to match.
I can't hear you.
I said, the Gus Young Fire Station?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought at one time we'd said that property was donated to the Council on Aging.
So Dr. Gilmore is going to come and talk about that with the RDA. But even if they donate it, it has to be renovated. So the funds we're talking about, the construction project is renovating it because you can't go in it as is.
Okay.
And so, but he'll talk about what the city and the RDA has done with the fire station shortly.
So we'll move on to the board resolutions. You want to talk about the opening of the 7 additional centers?
Yes. So I mentioned in our last board meeting that we signed a cooperative endeavor agreement with BREC to open 6 senior centers at the BREC locations, and we're also opening a 7th center, which is the Jules J. Newman Center, which is the last community center property, city community center that did not have a senior center. And we knew that they didn't have one, and we had been waiting till we could get some budget in order to be able to do that. So we're going to open all of these, and Trudy's going to give you the dates. We have grand opening dates for 6 of them and not the 7th, because there is one property at Harrah's Ferry Road that BREC is still renovating from the flood, and they're doing an addition on it, and so that'll be later on down the line. But we'll be opening these 6 facilities. It has saved us, really, I think it's going to be a great partnership with BREC. It's going to save some overhead in trying to find locations in the southern part of the parish. You know, a lot of the complaints has always been that we're in the northern part of the parish and not in the southern part of the parish. This will afford us an opportunity to go in that part of the parish with limited resources. So we're going to hire 6 new senior center coordinators. We've budgeted for what we need to get the facilities up and ready, hand washing sinks and tables and chairs and that kind of thing. But we're ready to go. BREC has signed the agreement, and so have we, and everybody's excited about it. So I think it's going to be great. And we ask that you be at these grand openings. Anyone that you can make would be great. So because the superintendent is limited on time, they're not going to be very long, with the exception of maybe the one at Jules J. Newman. They're gonna have a whole party out there because they've been waiting for so long. But but the rest will be short and brief and sweet and to the point. And so our information and assistant staff will start going out to these areas. We're going to send a mailer to the seniors in those areas, letting them know that we'll be coming out in a week. We're going to go out and try to pre-assess the seniors in each area and pre-target them and get them signed up before we even open. So when we come, we'll have we should have at least 20 participants for each facility. That's a state mandate. These centers are now, they've been approved by the Governor's Office of Elderly Affairs. They're now official licensed state senior centers and are recognized by the state and by the feds. And so everything's gone up the chain and back. So we did some quick work to get this turned around, and my staff has been working really hard. They really upset this because it's 6 at one time is really difficult, but we're looking forward to it. So you'll be seeing my staff out next week in golf carts, riding around Kenilworth, knocking on doors and signing folks up with the tablets, and getting new people that we've never had before. We're targeting, Representative Franklin Foyle sent us an email, me and Superintendent McKnight, and asked us to include the people in Mayfair at the Kenilworth Center. So we're going to ask them to come over because it's right across Star Lanes and Perkins. So I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody in that area. So we're going to, just for your information, we're going to, Perkins Road is at Olympia Stadium right there at Kenilworth. Antioch is at Shenandoah. Jules J. Newman, of course, everybody knows where that is. BREC Highland Road is Highland Road, not too far between Seagan Lane and the Country Club of Louisiana. BREC Benburg Park is actually Gardia Lane area. It's right off of Gardia. And then Flanaker is back at past Pride toward Port Hudson. So we are touching areas that have never been touched before by this council. Okay?
I think that was a very smart.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's an opportunity for people to not say I'm paying a tax and I'm
Right.
benefiting in my area.
And the BREC facilities sit open, closed and vacant from 8 to 2 o'clock in the daytime. Nobody's going in the facilities in the daytime. So it's a win-win for both of us.
I think so.
So
Yeah.
our
our name might be subject to change. We had the DPW come out today, and so, you know.
Okay. Okay, well, let me know. All right.
Just so glad you come to Mount Baton Rouge.
Yeah, Jim.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh, this, Julie Newman already has 50 people registered. They already
Get Trudy to send her calendar invite.
Yes,
to everybody,
she will.
And then we'll definitely have it.
Okay, we'll send a calendar invite.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Cole, you want to? What did she say?
She said Saturday. You want to do your grand opening? We'll talk after the meeting, Councilwoman.
Okay, Dr. Cole's going to read the resolution for us.
Okay.
Board resolution to adopt this instrument, acceptance of new senior centers on the second day of July 2018 at a meeting of the Board of Directors of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging Incorporated, a corporation held in the city of Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, with a quorum of directors present. The following business was conducted. It was duly moved and seconded that the following resolution be adopted. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the above-named corporation does hereby acknowledge and accept opening 7 new EBR Council on Aging senior centers. The following locations are EBR COA Brick, Perkins Road Community Senior Center, EBR COA Brick, Antioch Park Senior Center, EBR COA Brick Jewel J. Newman Senior Center,
No break.
EBR COA Brick Highland Road Park Senior Center, EBR COA Brick Ben Burr Park Senior Center, EBR COA Brick Flanker
Yeah.
Park Senior Center,
All right.
EBR COA Brick Forest Community Park Senior Center. The above resolution was passed by a majority of those present and voting in accordance with the bylaws and articles of incorporation. I certify that the above and foregoing constitutes a true and correct copy of part of the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Directors held on the second day of July 2018.
And so don't sign that yet, because retroactively, do I hear a motion to accept these new senior centers? Okay, Jane, all those in favor? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, now you can sign.
All right.
Okay.
James will talk about.
Dr. Gilmore's going to talk to us about the Gus Young Fire Station.
Okay. The Gus Young Fire Station, just to give you all a quick history, the fire station has been abandoned for a number of years. The RDA, Councilwoman Denise Marcel, under her leadership, got the property donated from the RDA to a nonprofit. Well, not donated, we found out.
From the city.
From the city to the RDA. The RDA then negotiated a lease agreement with a nonprofit in the Eden Park area. After trying to find a way that our agency could acquire that firehouse and put it back into commerce for our intergenerational program, we've had a lot of discussions with the RDA, and the RDA is now willing. Initially, they wanted to lease it to us, but we decided that if we're going to spend a couple $100,000 in renovating the firehouse, we should own it, and so they were convinced to transfer the property to us. And so we are now in the process with Murphy's Law Firm of creating a CEA. That CEA will serve as a purchase agreement. We won't do a purchase agreement because we're both public bodies. So there will be a CEA between the RDA and the Council on Aging. And then once that CEA is signed, and this resolution authorizes Tasha to sign that CEA. And once that CEA is signed, we will then have to go in and pay for an environmental study and do an inspection, things that we need to ensure that that's our inspection period, to ensure that whatever liabilities we may take on. And then once we do that, we will have an appraisal, and what the RDA has agreed to is to sell it to us for its appraised value. Okay, and because we're both public bodies, we have to do an appraisal. We can't just sit and negotiate a number. The law requires us to to have an appraisal, and that we mutually agree upon that number. And so those are the next steps. And then once it's acquired, we will begin construction. The CEA does say that we have to put it back into commerce within the next 18 months. So we're not looking at holding on to it for another 5 or 6 years being up in the community abandoned. We're looking to get this project rolling as soon as we can acquire the firehouse to get it back in the commerce. And so what the resolution says is authorizing Tasha A. Moore Clark to sign the CEA so then that we can begin our due diligence.
If you recall, initially when we met about going to, some of you board members were here before, about going and requesting a millage, part of the plan was doing an intergenerational program where we could bring the youth of the community together and the seniors, but not in our senior centers, because the seniors don't want them in their facilities, because, you know, that's theirs. And so we've had kids to come to the senior centers before, and it just didn't work out well. So we have a place where they can go. We have a retired teachers group over at Butler Center that has committed and will be willing to go and work with the youth and do projects and activities with the youth, as long as they're not in our senior centers. And that's the commitment that I made to the seniors, that they wouldn't come to their house. We're going to get them a house that they can fellowship in together, okay, where everybody feels like, you know, they have some ownership of it. Any questions?
You pointing to me.
You questions?
I think it's going to be a great program. Initially, I'm not sure if John was on that, but anyway, when we got the firehouse, I think maybe we were, okay. We got the firehouse, it was for the Baton Rouge Learning Center. And so we're still going to try to incorporate them working with the part where the youth is going to be coming together with the seniors. I like the idea that the teachers, the retired teachers, are going to come back. We also had commitment from BRCC, Southern University, and LSU at the time to come in. So there's not a lot of cost to them. That way we can help the youth in the area in the afternoon along with the seniors. So I like it. I think that it's going to be great for the community, but also I don't think that we're going to have to pay a lot for the building. So the appraised value should be low, and I think it sits in a perfect spot to do exactly what we need to do. And I look forward to that's something that everybody know I've been working on that for 7 years to try to do something with that fire station. So I look forward to it.
Yeah, that's two.
And actually, you have two resolutions.
And I know the seniors are really excited because they want to teach the youth, the kids etiquette and pull your pants up and respect, and they want the kids to teach them Instagram and Snapchat. So I think it's going to work out well.
We also need to go back and revisit Cox, because they were a partner at the time when we originally looked at it with the computer labs and all of that for the kids and the seniors. So they'll both be able to have those there once we get the building up and running at the proper time. I'd like to certainly make the most of it move forward with this endeavor.
Okay.
All right.
So we have two resolutions. The first one is to accept the CEA where the city transfers the property to us. Yep. Correct? You want to read that one?
Okay. Sign.
And then the second one is authorizing me to sign. Right? Right. Okay. All right. Yes.
Resolution to adopt this instrument, acceptance of the Gus Young Fire Station in Eden Park transfer CEA, City of Baton Rouge RDA Properties LLC. On the second day of July 2018, at a meeting of the Board of Directors of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging Incorporated, a corporation held in the City of Baton Rouge, State of Louisiana, with a quorum of directors present, the following business was conducted. It was duly moved and seconded that the following resolution be adopted. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the above-named corporation does hereby acknowledge and accept the transfer of the CEA, City of Baton Rouge RDA Properties LLC for the Gus Young Fire Station in Eden Park. The above resolution was passed by a majority of those present and voted in accordance with the bylaws and articles of incorporation. I certify that the above and foregoing constitutes a true and correct copy of a part of the minutes of a meeting of the Board of Directors held on the second day of July 2018.
Do I hear a motion to approve the transfer?
Yes.
Number one is, will the assessments be deducted from the appraised value?
So that's part of the negotiation. So what we agreed was that we will start negotiation at the appraised, but whatever the inspectors find, you know, of course, on our end, we would try to get that deducted.
Because I kind of negotiated one of the same things with Scottville, and asbestos was a real thing. And I would think they're about the same age.
Right.
There are no transfer of funds.
Yes.
So, you want to make sure that you have it, and for sure, it costs the city absolutely nothing to deduct that amount from the appraised value.
Right.
And the other question I had was, and I might have been two things, just the deduction and was, on 99 years being an option, or you just wanted to make sure you cleared it?
No, we I think with Murphy's attorney, we didn't do the 99-year option. We wanted a straight and clean and clear purchase because we didn't want to lease their facility and then put our revenue in it to fix it, and then they own it, and it increases their value. It's an asset for them and not for us. So Murphy's firm and his attorney, they've been working that out with the parish attorney, even though that might be their document, but they fine-toothed it. So.
Yeah, I had that conversation as well. That was my concern because actually the RDA was just a pass-through. They were never supposed to do anything with that property. I asked the city to give it to them. They thought that was the best mechanism by which to get it to a nonprofit. And so it's really in Mid-City Community Baptist Fellowship, which is 22 churches. And so that is the lease that they signed initially. But there was not enough funding to renovate it. So that's how that came to play. But they wanted to do the 50-year, 99 lease. But I talked to them about the inception of this idea and the fact that the mission of the RDA should be to return those properties back to the community and get them out of the blighted status that they're in. And especially if they haven't expended a dime, and which they had not. And so, after long talking, and I guess with help from my good lawyer over here, they convinced them that, one, we were not going to put that type of money into a building that the council on aging didn't own. It made no sense for them to own it because they were just a pass-through.
Yeah, but a necessary pass-through because they can't donate other
right. It was necessary, correct. I don't think they understood, it was a transition between 3 different people when it started. It started with Walter Monsoor, then it went to Gwen Hamilton, and I don't think Chris Tyson, he was just getting there. He didn't kind of,
Perfect time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I say?
Do I hear a motion to accept the board resolution for the CEA you did.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
We
second. All those in favor?
All right.
Okay, now you can sign it.
All right.
Next resolution.
As you all know,
Wait, we still on
Gus Young.
Second, Gus Young. All right.
Resolution to adopt this instrument, acceptance of the COA administration negotiating authority to purchase the Gus Young Fire Station in Eden Park. On the second day of July 2018, at a meeting of the Board of Directors of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging, Incorporated, corporation held in the city of Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, with a quorum of the directors present, the following business was conducted. It was duly moved and seconded that the following resolution be adopted. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the above-named corporation does hereby acknowledge and accept the EBRCOA administration negotiating authority to purchase the Gus Young Fire Station in Eden Park, beginning at the appraised market value. The above resolution was passed by a majority of those present and voting in accordance with the bylaws and articles of incorporation. I certify that the above and foregoing constitutes a true and correct copy of part of the minutes of a meeting of the Board of Directors held on the second day of July 2018.
And so do I hear a motion to allow the EBRCOA administration to negotiate? Move second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right.
Dr. Gilmore?
Dr. Gilmore?
all righty. As you all know, we were awarded a grant from the Department of Transportation and Development for 5 vans, 12 passenger vans that are currently being built, tailor-made in Detroit. They will arrive first quarter next year. The state of Louisiana, in this grant, the state of Louisiana will pay 95% of the cost, and we'll pay 5% of the cost, which is approximately $44,000 for these 5 vans. Whenever you see Secretary Wilson or the governor, please thank them because we're excited.
Right.
As part of that, and you don't have the policies in here, but just trust me on this one, as part of that, DOTD has written policies for us related to that. We will have an emergency management plan. That's one of the policies, as well as a safety and security plan, as well as a language proficiency plan. And what that language proficiency plan is about is ensuring that we are able to communicate in other languages such as Spanish, etc. These are federal buses, so we have to abide by federal guidelines. And so they've written an emergency plan for us. They've written a security plan for us. And this resolution, we have to adopt, just saying that we're going to abide by those plans. There's just certain things that we have to do that comes with the grant money, and these are the 3 policies that we have to abide by, ensuring there's an emergency plan, safety and security plan, and a language proficiency plan.
Do you have to have Spanish-speaking people drive those buses?
They just want us to encourage signs. Inside the buses.
Okay.
Yeah, those types of things.
Yeah.
And their policies and procedures, are we adopting those into our fleet management, or is that kind of a separate deal?
Separate deal.
Separate.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
You want to read it? It's long. It's the states. All right.
This one's not that long.
No. Okay. Go ahead.
Board resolution to adopt essential acceptance of the DOTD grant policies and procedures. On the second day of July 2018, at a meeting of the Board of Directors of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging Incorporated, corporation held in the city of Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, with a quorum of directors present, the following business was conducted. It was duly moved and seconded that the following resolution be adopted. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the above-named corporation does hereby acknowledge and accept the DOTD grant policies and procedures. The above resolution was passed by a majority of those present, and in voting in accordance with the bylaws and articles of incorporation, I certify that the above and foregoing constitutes a true and correct copy of a part of the minutes of a meeting of the Board of Directors held on the second day of July 2018.
Do I hear a motion to accept the DOTD grant policies and procedures? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next.
Fleet.
Fleet management.
Will.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Policy has been drafted and approved. Our current vehicle fleet has expanded to the extent that an agency requires a fixed policy. You should have received a copy of the policy for review. I'm asking the board to officially provide a resolution to adopt this policy.
Just
Verbatim.
just not verbatim, just
No.
touch on a couple points.
The purpose of the policy is to establish procedures to ensure that the agency's vehicles and motorized equipment are selected, acquired, utilized, and maintained in a manner that provides the best possible support to agency operations through economical and environmentally responsible fleet management. And the document is a working document and subject to revision from time to time.
I don't know if this is in here, but have we, do we have something that says that, given what has happened recently, that maybe the drivers will not carry any cash on them, or maybe that's on the vehicles, or that they don't have any cash, and probably the women should not carry their purses, just ID and, you know, what the basic needs that they need just to drop the truck.
So, okay, so for those of you who don't know, because most of you don't, we had a situation. One of our drivers was delivering, our female driver was delivering last week Meals on Wheels on Page Street in Zion City, and she was pushed from behind as she exited the van with the food boxes in her hand. She was pushed from behind, and the person subsequently jumped in the van and took her purse and her belongings. And so, since then, we've had a training this Friday past that Dr. Gilmore had. We had law enforcement to come out and teach them, one, looking and paying attention to your surroundings. Two, we implemented a new policy where you do not bring your purse because she lost all of her vital information. Bring a limited amount of cash. but her issue was that day she was going on her break to pay her light bill. So, the administrative staff, we got together collectively and just picked up the money that was taken from her and replaced it because we just felt like we should have done that. And then we are implementing a policy. We're going to give them little lanyards that they can put in their pocket where they can carry some cash in their identification. We're also retrofitting the new vans that we just got with cameras, dashboard cameras and external cameras for our employees that have to go into areas that may not necessarily be that safe. We filed a police complaint, but it seems like that this was her 4th time making that delivery, and that they had kind of been watching her sitting across the street, and so they just waited on her that day. And so we're going to beef up as best we can our security for our employees, particularly our female employees.
And also put the decal. Cash on them.
Yeah. Right, and we're going to do that as well. But we had a long meeting with law enforcement, and they came in and gave them some tips and some pointers because it was 4 people, but she couldn't describe any of them, and they taught them how to describe. She was really, really, really upset because most of our Meals on Wheels drivers are either retirees because it's a part-time job. And it doesn't pay the highest of pay, and so they're older folk, and so it was really, really upsetting to all of us that we out doing something good and you take advantage of a person like that. But we're thankful that they didn't do her any serious bodily harm or steal the vehicle or any of that. Yes. Significant value. Yes, her money. She lost her money, her credit cards, license, purse. She had over $200 in a purse. So yeah.
Is there a way that we can make a donation?
No, because I don't want it to be an issue. So the administrative staff, me and Ms. Pratt, and all the people you see here, we just picked up among ourselves and gave it back to her. That's what we did. Yeah. Because as soon as you do that, it will be a public record request for where the money went that you gave. So we went in our own paychecks and got it out ourselves. Okay.
Okay, you ready, Dr. Cole?
Board of Resolution to adopt this instrument acceptance of the EBR COA Fleet Management Policies and Procedures on the 2nd day of July 2018 at a meeting of the Board of Directors of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging, Incorporated, a corporation held in the city of Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, with a quorum of directors present, and the following business was conducted. It was duly moved and seconded that the following resolution be adopted. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the above-named corporation does hereby acknowledge and accept the EBR COA Fleet Management Policies and Procedures. The above resolution was passed by a majority of those present and voting in accordance with the bylaws and articles of incorporation. I certify that the above and foregoing constitutes a true and correct copy of a part of the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Directors held on the 2nd day of July 2018.
I hear a motion to accept the fleet management policies and procedures. Second. Professor Jackson, all those in favor? Opposed?
No. Okay. Madam Chair, if I could,
yes,
I'd like to ask that we make an amendment to the agenda. Mr. Will, we discussed that we're buying a tilt brazier. It's an emergency purchase because it died and we have to have it as soon as possible. So he's going to have to buy it outside of state contract. So he thinks that he needs a resolution from you all giving him permission to buy the tilt brazier as an emergency purchase.
A tilt brazier
is a big pot about the size of this table, tilts up and tilts down, and it's over the $15,000 threshold for state contract purchases, and just so that he can feel comfortable about going out and buy it, because you have to order it. It takes 3 months to get here, so you have to give them some money in advance. But he wants, what do you need?
So do I need a motion to add this to the agenda?
Yeah, to cook the food with. We got to add.
I need a motion to amend the agenda.
I so moved.
Second. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, well, tell us about that.
All right, come on.
Thank you. I'm requesting that this board issue an order under revised statute 382211A5A, revised statute 382212P for the purchasing agent to take immediate action to replace a dilapidated tilt skillet brazing machine which currently poses an operational hazard.
All right, do I hear a motion to allow him to purchase the, okay.
Explain all those statutes.
It's emergency procurement.
Emergency procurement. All right. We had a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right, buy your
All right.
razor, Will.
Go buy the razor. All right. Reserve account. Ms. Pratt, is that you? Reserve account?
All right.
Yes.
We did that. Reserve
Or that's
account investments.
Dr. Gilmore. Dr. Gilmore, Ms. Pratt, come on.
That's everybody.
It's everybody. Okay, you want to introduce our guest?
Yeah, introduce Ms. Westmoreland.
Hi.
She works with Raymond James, and as part of Ms. Amar's vision for many years is to be able to offer our employees retirement and to be able to invest our dollars.
Wait, we want to talk about the reserve account first.
Okay, all right.
Right? Okay.
Invest. Okay, go ahead. Keep going, Ms. Bradley. That's your point.
Okay, we know with the passage of the millage, GAAP rules allows you, a nonprofit, to reserve 10% of those city funds as a reserve. So from what we've collected so far, we have $893,000, which is 10% of the 8.9 that I had in the budget here. Reserve, not reserve, we have it sitting in a money market account right now. So what we would like to do is to invest it so that we could get a larger percentage, because money markets are not paying that much right now. And I'm going to let her talk about the investment tool itself. But we would like to invest it in something that is just as safe, but we can get more of a return on our money, is what she's going to offer to us.
Hi, I'm Lisa Westmoreland. I'm with Raymond James. Lee Bressler, my colleague, and I will refer to Tasha to come and discuss the available funds for investment. At current, as Eva explained, is the reserve, which is $893,000. What we did to start with was I began to implement with Dr. Gilmore an investment policy statement, which basically lays the groundwork with what we can and can't do, our time horizon, our risk tolerance, what we're allowed to invest in. And so we've come up with this policy. Dr. Gilmore has copies for everyone. And so more than likely what we're going to do is just invest in short-term CDs. That's really going to be the safest, and until Eva kind of gets her feet wet with the projects and when the money's going to be needed and everything, we just feel like that's the most appropriate FDIC, insured, most appropriate vehicle to go with. In the investment policy statement, I did broaden it a little bit to be able to invest in other things, just so that if it comes time, we don't have to come back and readopt another investment policy statement. So at this juncture, we're just probably going to go with CDs, at least to get our feet wet and get everything adopted.
What is the return amount on CDs right now?
Well, approximately 2.4% on the one-year CD.
Right.
So depending on what we feel is going to be our ladder, I think we've decided maybe it's a 1 to 3 to 5 year time horizon. Like I said, we're just sort of in the discussions, trying to get comfortable with when we might need the money. So it's not quite set in stone, but that's how we've been discussing it thus far.
And where you get on a money market right now?
Oh, the money markets are probably somewhere around 50 basis points to 75 basis points top. So it's just a way of getting a little bit more money return for our liquid cash.
What's the cost of management?
There is no cost, there's no annual fee to this. So when you buy a CD, it's what we call on a net transaction basis. So if you put up, let's say $100,000, and I say you're going to get 2% for a year, you're going to get your $100,000 back, your $2,000 interest. There's no additional fees attached to that. So
for the investment company, how much are those costs?
the net transaction, it's built into that. So there's going to be no transaction, there's going to be no fees attached to that on buying CDs.
On buying the CDs.
On buying the CDs.
She make the money from the retirement plan.
Yeah. It's a net transaction basis, so there will be no fees.
Are you saying that you put the entire 893,000 in a CD?
In various CDs. It'll be yes, so that we'll stay under our $250,000 limit. Yes, it'll be multiple CDs and possibly staggered out in ladders depending on when Eva may or may not need the money. We will stagger out the maturities.
Because what's happening right now is it's sitting in our checking account, in a money market account. It's not really making any interest or any significant amount off of it. I think last month we got like $800. That's a lot of money to sit there and say we're not getting much, and that was on all the money that was in the bank. So we know that we're going to keep a reserve account, and we want to move it in and put it to the side so we can have it for long-term use.
Any other questions?
I have one suggestion with regard to the proposed resolution that has not yet been read, but when it is read, I think we ought, after it says, except the reserved account investments, I would put parentheses, identified by Raymond James per the investment policy statement attached as Exhibit A.
All right, you got that? We got us a good attorney for 10 of these. Yeah.
Raise his voice too. But you know, that's like a good scholarship. Put it in, take it out.
Okay. All right.
Got to have somebody know what it is.
All right, that's cool.
Okay. All right. We gotta make a motion first, right? James. Gotta make a motion first. Raymond James.
With permission, I'll read the resolution.
Okay, read it and then we'll vote.
Board resolution to adopt instrument acceptance of reserve account investments. On the second day of July 2018, at a meeting of the Board of Directors of the East Baton Council on Aging Inc. Corporation held in the City of Baton Rouge, State of Louisiana, where the quorum of the directors present, the following business was conducted. It was duly moved and seconded that the following resolution was adopted. Be it resolved, the Board of Directors of the above-named corporation does hereby acknowledge and accept the reserve account investments, parentheses, identified by Raymond James current investment policy statement, comma, attached as Exhibit A, close parentheses. The above resolution was passed by a majority of those present and voting in accordance with the bylaws and articles of the corporation. I certify that the above foregoing constitutes a true and correct copy of part of the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Directors of the second day of July 2018.
Do I hear a motion to accept the reserve account investments?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right.
James, retirement.
Okay. So, as I said earlier, and as Tasha mentioned, one of the goals that Tasha has had since joining the organization 7 years ago to better help our employees as well as recruit and retain employees is to offer retirement. A lot of folks work very hard in this organization and have been in it for years. Tasha has known folks, 10 plus years that have no retirement. And when some of them have left us, it's kind of sad that they only have Social Security to depend on. And so now that we have the opportunity, Ms. Pratt, Tasha and I have been talking with Raymond James as well as this is part of our campaign promises also we made. And when we went around campaigning for the tax,
we didn't campaign.
We would, when we all talked about it. It is to help create a retirement plan. And so what we're going to do is encourage our employees to put up some money. Many of them have never saved before, so it's going to be different for them. And so part of what Raymond James will also do is educate our employees on the value of, no matter how big or small your check is, put a little bit away, and then we will be able to offer a 3% match.
So
So just to add a little bit to that, that's basically the overview, is that we were in very preliminary stages. More than likely it's going to be a 403B, possibly a 401K, but more than likely a 403B, which is what a nonprofit retirement plan. We have begun discussions with the third-party administrator, the Hasselauer Group, and that's probably about as far as we've gotten, but we do know that that's something we want to do, so we're in the early stages of getting that off the ground. What we'll need to talk to them about is the fees associated with it, as well as the match that y'all are willing to put up, and then it will be getting the paperwork done and educating the workforce.
There's no resolution on this, just informative, correct?
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, just informative.
And I would like to say one last thing, and I'm done. We've been trying since we got this money to figure out a way to make money on what we had, because we knew it was just sitting there, and what we got in money market wasn't good. But we're talking with Whitney Bank about making our regular operating account a sweep account. And what that does is whatever balance you have there at the end of the day, they'll invest it overnight, and then you'll get interest on it every day. So they're working on that, because at any one point during the month, we may have $350,000, $400,000 just sitting in an operating account. But we can make a couple $100s on it, so that's what we're doing.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Any questions about retirement?
I would like to say, I understand why you're losing people. If you had no retirement.
No retirement.
I would be gone too, because people. I mean, I'm just glad that we're able to do this.
Yes.
People are very cognizant of that now with the television and CNBC and things like that.
Right.
So it does help, like you said, recruit and retain, good workers. You want to be able to do that. And so I think this is a great move forward.
It is.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. You have a question?
Yes. Each employee will be responsible for putting the same amount of money toward because I heard you mention something about savings. So my question is, if you offer the retirement, each employee will be,
I think they're able to put up, my understanding in our preliminary conversations, up to 5% of their income per pay period, and our match amount will start at 3%. And as we make money off the investment, will increase, but we're going to start at 3%. Because it's new and it's the first time we're doing it. We don't know how this money is going to be, if it's going to be cyclical. So we're going to take we'll start a small match amount and then work our way.
A requirement for each employee.
It's not required. If you don't want to have a retirement, that's on you. But they've all asked. I've had people that's left the council, had been there 44 years, 45 years, and left with nothing but Social Security pension. So they've been asking for retirement, because a lot of them intend on finishing their career or their work at the council because they love what they do. And so I think it's a benefit that they need to have. Because what happens is the people that we've had to work for us that have left, they're now members of the council because they can't sustain themselves on Social Security.
Right. Social Security, I think that's great.
Yes,
Can't live
ma'am.
on Social Security.
Right. Okay. One more resolution, Madam Chair, and then all right.
Corey, you want to talk to us about this grant?
Ratification.
Yes, we are in the process of applying for and filling out the USDA Rural Cooperative Development Grant. And with this grant, it allows funds for operational trainings, leadership trainings, programming, expenses for rural programming in rural facilities, rural areas of the community. With the expansion of transportation programming and other programs that the agency is undertaking, this grant will allow us to access some additional funds as we expand our reach to the community.
Okay. All right.
So they have to have a resolution to write the grant. Yes, ma'am?
Oh, okay, right. So what, you all identify your rural areas that you serve? I mean, other than Zachary.
Baker, Zachary, yeah.
Pride, Port
Hudson,
Cheneyville,
all those areas.
We haven't even started writing the grant, or we don't even know what we want to do. What we did was, because you all meet monthly, is get a resolution done now, and then we're going to start writing the grant. So if y'all have any ideas, let us know. But it can basically use for anything economic development, human development. But we have no idea yet what we want to pursue, but we're willing to take any ideas.
All right, that's cool.
Board resolution to adopt this instrument, ratification of the USDA Rural Cooperative Development Grant application on the second day of July 2018 at a meeting of the Board of Directors of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging Incorporated. The corporation held in the city of Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, with a quorum of directors present. The following business was conducted. It was duly moved and seconded that the following resolution be adopted. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the above-named corporation does hereby grant approval of the submission of the USDA Rural Cooperative Development Grant application and implementation if funded. The above resolution was passed by a majority of those present and voted in accordance with bylaws and articles of incorporation. I certify that the above and foregoing constitutes a true and correct copy of the part of the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Directors held on the second day of July 2018.
Do you hear a motion to accept the, I don't even know how to phrase this.
USDA
to ratify the USDA Rural Cooperative Development Grant application.
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Opposed? All right.
All right. Last but not least is me. A couple of things. We already talked about the Council on Aging and the BREC CEA, so I'm not going to go back over that. But I do want to mention, since we're still talking about grants, that Dr. Gilmore and Corey have really been diligently writing us grants. We just got a $93,000 grant that he did not mention for workforce training of all of our staff. Computer training, customer service, conflict resolution, and so they're going to start classes August from everybody from the top down. So that's something, that's an expense that we don't have to incur. The state gave us that through the Workforce Commission. So that's another grant. So they've been writing grants left and right. Land Tech, right, left and right. So we're really excited about that, and all of these training classes that's gonna stop them from working to go train. This would be great. All right. Quickly, we just closed out our fiscal year for the state, June 30th. And we really closed it out with the bang. We met and exceeded our federal state contracted programmatic service by substantial numbers this year. And this has been our largest service delivery in this administration and the history of the Council on Aging. Meals on Wheels, home delivered meals, we're contracted with the state to deliver 59,559 meals thus far. As of June 30th, we have delivered 170,935 meals, which is 3 times as many meals, or 300% more than we're contracted to do. Last year this time, last year we delivered at this time 122,000, so we're 72% over last year's service. Congregate meals in senior centers, we're contracted for 45,051 meals. We have served thus far 97,393, and this number will change because they are still inputting for June. This is stopped in May. This is May's number. That's a 200% increase thus far. Material aid, we're contracted for 1,716 units of material aid. We've served 7,777, which is 450% increase in service. Homemaker personal care, we contracted for 2,608 units of service, or going into the homes at 2,600 times. Thus far, we've already gone into the homes 6,591 times, which is a 252% increase in homemaker services. National Family Care, which is our respite and PCA services, we're contracted for 3,097 units, and we have done 3,954 units as of May, which is a 28% increase. And the Lotus Pantry, which is our newest program, began in April of 18 with about 150 seniors, and as of this month, we're already at 430 seniors utilizing the program in less than 2.5 months. And Food Bank has called us and said to cut the number off at 500 because they're going to tell them to go somewhere else to another pantry, because we have more seniors. We don't have enough places for them to come and park. There's so many seniors, we had to spread it out over every day of the week because we can't get them all in there at the same time. So that's just some of our main programs, but all 18 of our services, we are well above in triplicate of our service delivery, and we are out serving all councils on agents across the state. We have the #1 service delivery, so we're gonna toot our own horn for seniors.
I was gonna say, I don't think any of us understood how much the programs would expand exponentially.
It's so quickly.
And I anticipate more growth when we move into 1701.
Most definitely.
And so I just want to thank y'all, the board, and wants to thank y'all for doing such a fine job of keeping up with this, and we really appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Staff. Okay. And last but not least, I just wanted to talk to you about some upcoming events. I already shared with you the grand openings, but in October, what is it? 11th through the 13th, we're having our first Senior Expo. It's a Senior Exposition Center we're having at the Baton Rouge River Center. We're anticipating 3,000 to 5,000 seniors on the course of 2 days. We're gonna have live entertainment. We're gonna do our taste fair that Thursday night with live entertainment from Zydeco bands. We having Keith Frank and Rockin' Doopsie will be in the Senior Center, and we're gonna have 40+ restaurants giving tasting size samples on that Thursday night. On that Friday day, all day, we'll have symposium, cooking demonstrations. We're gonna have an 18-wheeler parked in the middle of the River Center full of fresh food, and yes, and merchants is giving it out, and they're gonna be cooking for all the seniors all day. We're having a senior fashion show. We're giving away a car. We're giving away a car. Who donated a car? We're giving away a car. We already got head keynote sponsors. They told me not to say too much, but I want you to put this on your calendar because this is a don't miss opportunity. And we'll get you home in time to go to the Georgia LSU game on Saturday. So we'll close out early Saturday. And so that's coming up, so put that on your schedule. You do not want to miss the Senior Expo, Zydeco, and Baton Rouge, Taste of Baton Rouge 2.0. We're calling it Taste of Baton Rouge 2.0. And that's all I have, Madam Chair. All right. I know. I'm going to give it to you. That's the save the date. I'm going to give you the times.
Just block out the whole day.
Just block out the whole weekend.
Okay.
Trudy passes, Mr. Brown. Yes, ma'am.
When I mentioned because I had seen it on Facebook. So I mentioned it to our seniors at the Butler Center.
Yes, ma'am.
And somebody said that on that Saturday, Southern.
It's playing in Prairie View.
Yes.
Yeah, so we are wrapping it up on that Saturday morning. Everybody got time to go to the games. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
She got time to go to
She got to go to the football game. Yes, ma'am.
Senior back to school.
I did.
Giveaway.
2 things. I'm sure I did. I missed 2 things. We have a senior trip July 22nd to Montgomery, Alabama. We got 150 seniors. We booked. We got more. July the 20th. When is it?
The 22nd.
23rd.
I'm still taking donations.
It's July the 20th through the 22nd.
Yeah, because I'm going.
That's sponsored by State Representative Denise Marcel. We got 150 seniors already booked, and got 150 seniors begging to go, and we full. So don't send any senior that you know. It's no more room on the buses.
It's Legacy Museum in Montgomery, Alabama.
Right.
And no COA funds will be used for this.
No COA funds will be used for this.
So.
And then on July 27th, right here, we have the grandparents raising grandchildren's back to school drive and giveaway, along with State Rep Marcel, grandparents raising grandchildren, and the Council on Aging. We will be providing needed school supplies for
27th?
July 27th. Is at 1 o'clock? No, 10 to...
They're registering.
You changed it to 12?
And they still
it's at noon.
Through the grandparents raising grandchildren.
Right, yes.
July 27th is anticipated grand opening.
I know they're gonna still.
Right, I'm gonna be late coming over here.
You might have to have
Oh, I don't know.
She might change to Saturday morning.
We could do Saturday.
No, I
At noon. And so we did this last year with our state representative, and we did, we didn't do as much backpacks as ever. We targeted them with uniforms. The grandparents raising grandchildren, most of them have 3 to 5 grandchildren in their home, and they had difficulty getting uniforms and shoes. And so that's what we did last year, and we're going to do the same thing this year. It's a pre-registration. We have a list from grandparents raising grandchildren. Now, if you know some that are raising their grandchildren that might not be in the program on the system, then you can let us know, and we can have them added to the program. But it's a beneficial program for them. They help them throughout the year and along the way, so it'd be great for them to get involved.
And what it does when you register is it gives us an idea of what to buy. You know, I have elementary school, middle school, and high school supplies.
Yeah.
And so we
grandparents raising grandchildren doing the registration.
Say if you got 2 grandkids in elementary school and 1 in high school, then we prepare those school supplies for that individual. So it's not like the typical you get in a line. You know, it's good to be prepared for you if you are registered through either
grandparents or us.
Grandchildren,
grandparents,
because they have all of those numbers, and when they weren't through them, I think the Council on Aging stepped up. So this is just the 2nd year that we're doing it.
Okay.
All right. Any other business?
No, ma'am.
Can you arrange for me to get a picture with Keith Frank?
I will. Oh, matter of fact, that day we're having a meet and greet with the sponsors at 6:30 with the sponsors of the expo, and the board members and the celebrity waiters will be there because we have the restaurants there, and so you'll come in earlier and you'll meet and greet with Keith Franks and Roxy Dukes.
Keith Frank.
We'll talk about it off the record, Councilwoman.
Right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? All those in favor? All right. Thank you.